Yo, what is up guys? You got Illusion here, coming at you with my week 1 team builder and battle for the Hive. I did a team builder before, but I messed up the dimensions, so that sucks. So I'm just gonna do my team builder and battle in one video, this video. Let's get right into the team matchup. Over here, you have my team. Hoopa Unbound, Zapdos the Trio, Cobalion, Whimsicott, Kyurem, Sharpedo, Mega Beedrill, Ribombee, Excelgor, and Poliwrath. I never did a draft analysis, so this is my team if you want to know what it is. And we got my opponent here, Alex, aka Saiyan Master. And he's got a very threatening team, and he's a very good coach. He has Tornadus Therian, Infernape, Z Reuniclus, Crocodile, Shaman, Jolteon, Registeel, Mega Slowbro, Z Flygon, Tauros, and Cryogonal. And something to note is he doesn't have to Mega first turn with Slowbro, and he has a lot of threatening options on his team. Something interesting about Alex's team is he has no Pokemon that I think absolutely cannot come. I think any one of his Pokemon can come. But also something to note is that his team is very weak to getting trapped by the trio. Let me name a few. Infernape, Jolteon, Registeel, even Tauros to an extent, and even Crocodile to an extent. All those Pokemon can get trapped by the trio, which is pretty crazy. But if you notice, my team over here, I don't have the trio on my team. And so you may be wondering, okay, I say the trio can trap so much, so why didn't I bring it? Well, the reason is because I think he'll try and circumvent the trio's strong matchup in prep. And my philosophy is I'll try and counter his countering of my Dub Trio. For example, I'll think he'll be either Scarf or maybe Shed Shell or even like strong priority Infernape to deal with Dub Trio. Then he could be something like Toxic Orb Quick Feet Jolteon to circumvent my Dub Trio. Definitely he'll be Shuka or Shed Shell Registeel if he brings it. And yeah, so he has ways to circumvent Dub Trio, but I have ways to beat his ways of beating me, if that makes sense. So the second thing I noticed is he's really weak to Mega Beedrill as well, because it outspeeds his entire team naturally, and he only has one switch in, Registeel. And the thing about Registeel is it's trapped by the trio, and being trapped by the trio means that it has to bring Shed Shell and Sugar Berry, and it can't bring leftovers. And if it can't bring leftovers, it's never getting recovery unless he's rest, and I have ways to beat that. So the first Pokemon on my team is something that'll take advantage of Registeel, Banded Hoopa. So I have Hyperspace Fury, Knockoff, Drain Punch, and Zen Headbutt. Hyperspace Fury is what I'm going to be clicking, and it destroys his entire team. His only switch-in is Crocodile and Infernape, and they can literally only switch in once. Something I have to be scared of is if he brings Crocodile, I have to be scared of being Pursuit Trap because of the -1 defense from Hyperspace Fury. But that lets me use Drain Punch. And my plan is, if I have Beedrill, I can U-turn on the Registeel and bring in Hoopa. And Hoopa versus Registeel is a matchup I like. Hoopa absolutely destroys Registeel, and Registeel can't do anything back. The best it can do is probably Thunder Wave, and that's the best it can do. Zen Headbutt and Knockoff are just whatever moves. This speed investment lets me outspeed any kind of Registeel set in case he wants to get like cheeky with the very fast explosion set. It's just a good amount of speed to make sure I don't get sped crep. So yeah, next Pokemon I have is Beedrill. Like I said, has a very good matchup. Because I have Beedrill on my team, he's forced to bring a Scarfer, and the only good Scarfers in this matchup, I feel, is Infernape and Crocodile. So he has to bring a Scarf version of one of these sets. And I have ways of dealing with both Scarf versions of those sets. Poison Jab is Strong Stab, mostly for Tornadus Therian. I think it might kill after Rocks, I'm not 100% sure. F-Scissor is good Bulk Stab if I don't want to switch out, versus something like Mega Slowbro, or even Shaman. U-turn is for momentum. Knockoff is good utility. I can knock off items if I really need it, like perhaps knocking off a Scarf Infernape on the switch-in if it predicts my U-turn. and something around that. It has a good matchup, and it can definitely clean late game if I get rid of his Scarfer. Next, I have the boy Zapdos. So, this amount of investment on Zapdos lets me take any Scarf Infernape set, both Scarf. It doesn't get 2-hit KO by Scarf Flare Blitz, and it doesn't get 2-hit KO by Scarf Fire Blast either. It also takes on Crocodile very well. I made a mistake with this set. This should have been static, but I accidentally put pressure, which is a mistake on my end, but it may end up mattering in the match. But definitely static over pressure is what it should have been. But yeah, Hidden Power Ice is for Crocodile and Flygon. Roost is Recovery, Defog, Get Rid of Rocks, and Volt Switch. Next, I have Steelium Z, Cobalion, Stealth Rock, Swords Dance, Iron Head, Close Combat. And what's really good about this set is he doesn't have good resistance to Steel and Fighting. His only resist to those two stabs is Mega Slowbro. And I don't think he'll bring Mega Slowbro due to the fact that my team matches up very well versus Psychic types with my triple Bug Core and Hoopa Unbound. And if he does bring Slowbro, if you look at my team, Hoopa beats Slowbro, Beedrill beats Slowbro, Zapdos beats Slowbro, and Sharpedo beats Slowbro. So I'm really not scared of Slowbro if he does bring it. And if he doesn't bring it, Cobalion has a really good matchup. SD Steelium Z can break through Shaman, Fizz Death Shaman if he brings that, which I believe he might bring possibly for Sharpedo. So yeah, gets rocks up. His team's very, very weak to rocks, and his hazard removal, I can deal with his hazard removal pretty well, especially something like Cryogonal. My next Pokemon is Sharpedo, Life Orb, Speed Boost, Protect, Liquidation, Crunch, Aqua Jet. Something very interesting about this set, allow me to turn off my phone code. Something interesting about this set is that it beats most Infernape variants. So I'm expecting Scarf, and with Protect and Aqua Jet, I can beat a Scarf Infernape with a priority Aqua Jet. But if he's something like Life Orb, Nasty Plot, Vacuum Wave, I can still beat him because I can Protect to get the speed boost, and then Aqua Jet, and that my Aqua Jet will out prioritize his Mach Punch / Vacuum Wave, and he should die with a little bit of chip, especially with Life Orb. And if I get rocks up and Shaman and Registeel are weakened, if he brings those, then Sharpedo can just clean through his entire team very well. Next, I have Kyurem, Life Orb, and I have an interesting moveset: Dragon Claw, Ice Beam, Roost, and Draco Meteor. So, if you notice, my team doesn't have a ground type, so my way of dealing with Jolteon is my Kyurem, because it resists anything can do and can take it on very well, which is why I have Roost. This is my switch into Jolteon, and it matches up very well outside of his team, outside of Registeel. And as I said, I have ways of dealing with Registeel because of Hoopa and Cobalion. Ice Beam and Draco are good stab, and Dragon Claw with this amount of attack investment is for Cryogonal. I saw Cryogonal on Mach, and Cryogonal actually, because of its good Spadef and health, can actually take on Life Orb, Kyurem's Ice Beam, and Draco Meteor. But with this attack investment and Dragon Claw, it KOs Cryogonal, especially if he doesn't have any health investment. So yeah, interesting tech on my part. Because of Cryogonal's like really bad physical defense, which is like base 50, Dragon Claw blows it back in a way that Ice Beam and Draco Meteor simply can't. So that's my team. Let's go. Let's get right into the game. Let me X out these sticky notes right here. So we have my team of 6, and then I see his team of 6. He brought the Cryogonal, which is something I kind of expected. Jolteon, I 100% expected. He brought Infernape, I 100% expected. Tornadus, I also expected that. Registeel and Shaman. So something to note, and something I'm really happy about, is that he has no Crocodile. And because he has no Crocodile, that means I can play my Hoopa more recklessly and just click Hyperspace Fury because I can't be Pursuit Trap. So right here, I lead with Cobalion. I want to get rocks up immediately because of how weak his team is to it. Well, let me get the. He leads Infernape, and I can't let that thing Flare Blitz me and kill me immediately, or just go for close combat. That would suck a lot. So I switch into Zapdos. Like I said, this can take either special or physical, and I can kind of scout what it goes for. If it goes for rocks, I can defog it, and I'll see that, I'll know that this is like an Endeavor set. But he just goes for the U-turn, and this is where having static would have been nice, because if I had static, I could have paired this right here, and if this is Scarf like I think, then that would just open the door for Beedrill even more. So this is a mistake I made. Been making a lot of those, but hopefully I won't make any more. He goes for the U-turn. He goes right in the Cryogonal. Now, obviously I don't want to take like a Blizzard, Ice Beam, or Freeze Dry, and I have the perfect switch in the Cobalion. Cobalion like always switches into this. There's no coverage move it gets that can hurt Cobalion outside of like Hidden Power Fighting, and that does negative damage. So I go into Cobalion, but he pulls a nice double back in Infernape, predicting the Cobalion. But so he pulls a nice double, and puts the momentum back in his favor. But I have Zapdos, and like I said, I'm pretty sure this is Scarf, and I can take any attack from Infernape, no matter what it's set, unless it's like Life Orb or Bandit or something like that. He goes for the Flare Blitz, yeah. He goes for the Flare Blitz. Like I said, I take that. I get Burn, which kind of sucks, but it's also kind of nice in the fact that I can't get Toxic by something because of the burn. But it sucks in that it's easier for him to whittle down my Zapdos with Infernape, especially if he gets Rocks up. So yeah, I take that, and like I said, I wish I had Static right here because that would have given me another shot to try and pair it. Which, and if this got paired, that would have been very, very good. So I just roost up. I can't let this get too weak, otherwise Infernape will sweep through my team. Yeah, I roost up right here. And he brings in Jolteon. I have a designated switch in. Kyurem. Rocks aren't up. This takes any set. And I can scout. He goes for the Volt Switch. Reveals Life Orb. Not Toxic. He reveals that he's not Toxic or Quick Feet. Which is nice because that means Sharpedo will be able to deal with Jolteon once it gets a speed boost. And that means Beedrill will also be able to deal with it. He goes into Registeel, which beats my Kyurem. And even Earth Power Kyurem, it beats pretty well. But this is the perfect opportunity for me to bring in my Hoopa and start the carnage. He just goes for Rocks. And now, like I said, he doesn't have Crocodile. So I don't have to fear clicking Hyperspace Fury. And he literally has no switching. Infernape is just, he can't risk Infernape. But I'm pretty sure that takes like 70% from a Hyperspace Fury. So he can't switch in Infernape, and anything else dies. So I go for the Hyperspace Fury. He stays on Registeel. I do a ton of damage. He goes for Iron Head and does that. But with this Registeel weekend, that opens up the door for Beedrill more, and also opens up the door for Kyurem as well. He reveals no leftovers, just like I predicted. So he's never getting recovery. So if I get Rocks up, I can whittle this down well. And he still has to pick something to sack. Right here, right now. He goes into Shaman, right? And does 99%, which kind of disappointed that Bandit Hoopa didn't kill, but 99% is a lot of damage, and this Shaman can never recover on me. If I ever get Rocks up, Shaman's gonna die. He goes for the rest here. I don't know why he went for the rest, maybe predicting my switch out, but I just Hyperspace Fury, do 99% again, and I pretty much kill this Shaman. And it's gone. And Hoopa's put in work because Registeel and Shaman were his only two walls. And because those were defeated, that opens up the door for Sharpedo. Definitely. And Mega Beedrill. Shaman goes down. He goes into Tornadus. I could go into Zapdos, but I know he's going to U-turn. And I don't want to take Rocks damage and lose a lot of momentum. So I sack off Hoopa here. It already did its job in weakening Registeel and almost killing Shaman. So I let it go. He goes Infernape, and this is the perfect opportunity for me to get rid of Rocks. He goes for the U-turn. Yeah, so that was the perfect opportunity for me to get rid of Rocks because I didn't believe he would Flare Blitz there because I could just roost up. So that was kind of a prediction on my part, but I didn't believe it was in his best interest for him to Flare Blitz. And I just get rid of Rocks, which is nice because now my Zapdos can switch in better versus his team. And that's nice. He brings in Jolteon from the U-turn. Like I said, Kyurem, I can bring Kyurem back in. And Volt Switch does no damage. And he brings in Infernape right here. So I sacked my Kyurem here. I was thinking of going Zapdos, but I didn't want to sack it to Flare Blitz because I didn't have a switch in. And I was thinking that If he goes for close combat here, I would be able to bring in my Beedrill afterwards and U-turn, and that would give me momentum versus anything on his team, and that would be nice. So I just sack my Kyurem here. It dies. He goes for close combat. This is the perfect opportunity for me to bring my Beedrill in, get the Mega off, go for U-turn. He brings in the Registeel, and I'm thinking this is the perfect opportunity for me to get up rocks with my Cobalion. He stays in, sacking the Registeel, but going for rocks. But rocks aren't as bad for me as they are for him, because once his Registeel goes down, my Beedrill and Sharpedo can start wrecking some havoc versus his team. I go for close combat. He dies. Now he has Infernape right here. I just sack off Cobalion because I see this as the perfect opportunity for Sharpedo to win right now. He goes for Flare Blitz. This is low. So now I can bring in Sharpedo. So right here, I know he's Scarf. I'm almost 100% positive he's Scarf. I also have the Aqua Jet, so I'm just gonna protect here. See what he does. Oh wait, no. So right here, Flare Blitz doesn't kill me, and if I get rid of this Infernape, then Beedrill just wins. So this is the perfect opportunity for me to just go for Liquidation. And if he stays in, he can do a lot of damage to Sharpedo and stop my sweep. But then Beedrill just beats Tornadus, Jolteon, and Cryogonal on its own. And if he switches out, Liquidation does a hell of a lot of damage. So he just switches out like I predicted, and I just go for Liquidation. He brings Tornadus, that takes a lot of damage, and now this Tornadus is dead, and with my Sharpedo getting speed boost, I pretty much won the entire game. He tries to go into Cryogonal, but that dies. Its Fizz Def is trash, so Sharpedo just sends that to hell. He tries to bring in Jolteon, but then I blow that thing all the way back as well. And finally, he brings in his Infernape, but I can just Aqua Jet right here. Even if he has Vacuum Wave, I win right here. And Sharpedo gets 4 kills, showing its worth. So GG to my boy Alex. I think he had a chance to win, but the fact that he sacked Tornadus instead of something like Jolteon or Cryogonal was his mistake. Because as you saw, that Liquidation didn't kill the Tornadus. So if he preserved that, I would have had to switch out into something like Zapdos, and the game would have been different, to say the least. I would have had to make some different plays, but once he sacked Tornadus, Sharpedo just cleaned it up, and I win 3-0 with 4 kills on Sharpedo's end. And Hoopa doing its job very well, and Cobalion getting rocked up. I think the entire team contributed to my win. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be sure to come in with my Hive battle next week.